That we come to Veer, again my friend from Amritsar, and he's after his training from Shankar Nitrale, he's now does extensive surgery at the famed Dr. Son Singh Eye Hospital in Amritsar, Punjab, and he's going to be presenting, I think, something which is not exotic, but something which will affect most people here because everybody has to deal with endophthalmitis. So, looking forward to Veer's case. Veer, please.
Thank you, Mohit, for the kind introduction, and thank you, Ramandeep sir, for arranging this program and having me here. So, like Mohit mentioned, I'm not going to be presenting anything exotic. It's going to be a very basic, simple case. The whole purpose is that when I was, initially when I used to do these cases, it's a case of traumatic endophthalmitis. I read a lot of literature and I spoke to a lot of people what was the best approach, and everybody had a slightly different take on it. So I thought, why not put it on a forum where we could actually discuss? I mean, I went one way, but there are multiple ways of managing it, and it would be a good idea to have such a basic case and then discuss the various ways we can treat to have a good outcome. So to start that, this was a 13-year-old boy who had a history of stick trauma in the right eye 5 days back. The presenting vision was PL, and PR was accurate. The cornea was a self-sealing, it had a self-sealing wound. AC was full of fibrin exudates, and the lens was cataractus, and fundus, there was no view of fundus. So this is just I don't have a pre-operative picture. This is a picture after lensectomy. So I thought after removing the acid exudates, give some idea about the clinical picture. A gentle USG was done since the wound was self-sealed. Vitreous exudates were seen filling the posterior segment, and the retina was attached. There was no foreign body or anything seen on the ultrasound. So the diagnosis, traumatic endophthalmitis. I decided to do a corneal suture the cornea at the same time, do a lensectomy, vitrectomy, and intravitreal antibiotics along with dexamethasone. So what I do is I take an AC sample and a vitreous sample, and then I send it across to the lab. We have an in-house lab, and they just do a basic grams and QH. And meanwhile, I'm done with the vitrectomy. At the end of surgery, I get a report saying whether it's a fungus or a bacteria. So I inject. It came out as a gram-positive cocci. So I injected Vancomycin deca. Now, intraoperative decisions and dilemmas that I was talking about, this is what I had in mind. So since it was a case of advanced stage and it was a fulminant endophthalmitis, whether to do a extensive radical vitrectomy with a PUD induction with or without silicone oil injection, or considering the inflamed or the necrotic nature of the retina, just do a core vitrectomy to the extent without possible control the infection and leave it for another day for a media clearing vitrectomy. I'm going to show the surgery. To start with, I'd like to point out that to start with, after putting the trocar, the cannula, I was not able to see the infusion from the back. So I decided to, after removing the AC exudates and putting iris hooks, I decided to put the infusion in the at the limbus to start with, did a lensectomy, and then after clearing the anterior vitreous and doing a proper lensectomy, then shifted the cannula behind where I could see it well. Then initially I thought maybe I'll just do a core vitrectomy, but then because the retina was also very inflamed, but then my heart was dwindling between, looking at the condition of the eye, there was so many exudates, it was such an advanced. I just put in a posterior lens and I went for the posterior hyaloid very carefully. And to my luck, I was able to find an opening in the posterior hyaloid. It was slightly lifted at some area and it was attached at the others. So I did not use any suction. I just, at that same place, I just continued to use my cutter and just go around the disc area, trying to stay a safe distance from the retina. And to my luck, I was able to debulk and I was able to, slowly chew up the posterior hyaloid all around the disc. And here again, a little debulking. And if you notice, just right after this is the last part of the hyaloid, which is attached at the nasal side. So again, no suction used, just at the cutting mode with high cut rate. And then there's the last portion of the posterior hyaloid that comes off. After that, you can see the hyaloid is, the vitreous is all lifted up. And then I go ahead and do a peripheral vitrectomy. Again, a safe vitrectomy from a safe distance using low suction. And you can see the retina is very inflamed, necrotic, and there's a lot of vasculitis also in the background, and a lot of necrotic exudates that are lying in the posterior pole. So once, not being too aggressive, I decided, okay, this is the best thing I can leave it with, and I left it right here. Not to my surprise, there was a detachment with a GRT RD, which was expected, which is expected in endophthalmitis case. There was some PVR memories also at the edges. After peeling them off, went ahead with a full fill. There was not much to be done. Just a routine GRT surgery was done. I shaved that base nicely because those exudative membranes can cause low IOPs later. So I shaved those membranes at the pars plana very well. And then a PFCL full fill was done, followed by a 360 laser. And just like, you do a routine GRT surgery. So there were these little retinal folds, but I just left them right there. And a 360 laser was done. And again, buckle was also put in this case because I didn't know what to expect inside. Belt buckle, 240 band was put, and a PFCL oil exchange was done to attach the retina. So at 6 weeks follow-ups, the follow-up, the retina was on, and the best corrected visual acuity improved to 636 with silicone oil C2. So the main idea of this presentation is to discuss the things here. So just going to a very basic thing. It's all in literature, but yeah, the pathogenesis, what could be the real pathogens? Did I end up having a iatrogenic break with my cutter or something? Did I pull the, have a traction on the peripheral vitreous too much? Or was it the necrotic retina, which anyway was going to go into a GRT detachment? Then again, this was an advanced endophthalmitis, and I chose to do an extensive vitrectomy. So was going after the posterior hyaloid, just even on the cutting mode without any suction, to do extensive vitrectomy was a bad decision, which brings me to the discussion whether we should be doing an extensive or a core vitrectomy in these cases. And last but not the least, could silicone oil tamponade in the primary surgery, even without a detachment or a break on table, would have prevented this from happening, which brings me to whether we should be using silicone oil in these advanced cases in the primary surgery, and anything else that I could have done. So with that, I end my case and I open the case for discussion.
Thank you. We will come to that after Sangeet sir's presentation, and we'll have discussion on both together.
Do you want me to stop sharing, or do you want these questions on the screen?
No. I know the questions, Veer. I'll post them to the panelists. Please. Thank you, Veer.